Day 21 in the month of October. Bible study from the book of Proverbs, chapter 21, verse 1 to 31. New International Version. It says, verse 1, "In the Lord's hand the king's heart is a stream of water that he channels toward all who please him." This verse shows God's sovereignty over leaders. Even though kings and rulers seem powerful, their hearts and decisions are ultimately in God's hands. Just as a gardener directs water in a field, God guides leaders to fulfill his purposes, especially toward those who seek to honor him. Imagine a powerful CEO who has control over a large company. Despite his authority, his decisions often align with what the shareholders want. In the same way, a leader might believe they are in full control, but God ultimately directs their heart to serve his will, especially when they are aligned with his purpose. Verse 2, "A person may think their own ways are right, but the Lord weighs the heart." Humans are often biased in their own favor, thinking they are in the right. However, God looks deeper. He evaluates the heart, the true intentions and motivations behind actions, not just outward appearances. You may meet someone who volunteers frequently and donates generously, yet they might do these things for recognition rather than out of compassion. While people may praise them, God knows the true motive and weighs the heart accordingly. Verse 3, "To do what is right and just is more acceptable to the Lord than sacrifice." God values justice and righteousness above ritualistic worship or offerings. It's better to live with integrity and fairness than to perform religious duties with an impure heart. A person might go to church every Sunday but lie and cheat in their business. While they think their attendance compensates, God desires a heart of justice in their everyday dealings, not just their religious devotion. Verse 4, "Haughty eyes and a proud heart, the unplowed field of the wicked, produce sin." Pride is like an unplowed field, barren and unproductive. Pride leads to a hardened heart, where no good fruit grows, but rather sin takes root. Think of a field that has never been tilled. It's hard and can't grow crops. In the same way, a prideful person is resistant to growth and goodness, because they are unwilling to humble themselves. Verse 5, "The plans of the diligent lead to profit as surely as haste leads to poverty." Careful planning and consistent effort result in success, while hasty decisions and shortcuts often lead to failure. Patience and diligence are key to achieving goals. A student who plans their study schedule well in advance is more likely to succeed in exams than one who crams at the last minute. Similarly, in life, diligence brings sustainable results, while rushing often causes mistakes. Verse 6, "A fortune made by a lying tongue is a fleeting vapor and a deadly snare." Dishonest wealth is temporary and dangerous. It may seem rewarding at first, but it quickly disappears and leads to destruction. A person might lie on their taxes or cheat in business to gain extra money, but eventually, the truth catches up, and the consequences can be severe: loss of reputation, legal troubles, and even financial ruin. Verse 7, "The violence of the wicked will drag them away, for they refuse to do what is right." Wickedness, especially violence, eventually consumes those who practice it. Their refusal to turn toward righteousness leads them down a path of self-destruction. Someone who consistently engages in illegal activities, like theft or fraud, may seem to succeed for a while, but sooner or later, the law catches up, and they are dragged away by the consequences of their choices. Verse 8, "The way of the guilty is devious, but the conduct of the innocent is upright." Guilty people often rely on deception to hide their wrongdoing, while those who are innocent walk in honesty and transparency. Righteous living doesn't need to cover up or manipulate. A child who has stolen a toy might lie repeatedly to cover their actions, leading to a complex web of deception. An honest child, however, has no need to create lies, and their life is much simpler and peaceful. Verse 9, "Better to live on a corner of the roof than share a house with a quarrelsome wife." This verse highlights the misery of living with a contentious partner. Peace is more valuable than comfort, and sometimes, separation may feel like the only way to attain peace. Imagine someone who has a large, beautiful house, but there is constant conflict inside. They might prefer the solitude of a small, uncomfortable space just to escape the tension. Verse 10. The wicked crave evil. Their neighbors get no mercy from them. Wicked individuals are not only driven by evil desires, but they also harm those around them, showing no mercy or kindness. Their actions affect everyone in their vicinity. A corrupt politician who engages in illegal activities for personal gain often causes suffering for the whole community, affecting even those who did nothing wrong. Verse 11. When a mocker is punished, the simple gain wisdom. By paying attention to the wise, they get knowledge. When a fool or mocker is disciplined, others learn from it. However, the truly wise seek knowledge from observing the wise, not just from seeing the consequences of foolishness. In school, a student who cheats and gets caught serves as an example to others, who might have been tempted to do the same. But the wisest students learn from the diligent, not just from the mistakes of others. Verse 12. The righteous one takes note of the house of the wicked, and brings the wicked to ruin. God observes the actions of the wicked, and though they may prosper for a while, he will ultimately bring judgment upon them. No evil escapes his sight. Consider a company involved in illegal activities that continues to make profits. Over time, justice catches up with them, and their success is overturned, reminding us that God's judgment, though it may seem delayed, is inevitable. Verse 13. Whoever shuts their ears to the cry of the poor will also cry out and not be answered. God values compassion and responsiveness to the needs of others. Ignoring the pleas of the needy invites similar treatment when we find ourselves in need. A wealthy person might refuse to help a struggling neighbor, thinking they are secure. But when they later face their own hardships and seek help, they may find that no one responds, illustrating how we reap what we sow. Verse 14. A gift given in secret soothes anger, and a bribe concealed in the cloak pacifies great wrath. This verse speaks to the power of a timely, discreet gift in resolving disputes. However, it also hints at the danger of bribery, which can sometimes pacify wrath temporarily but may lead to deeper problems. A manager might quietly offer a bonus to a disgruntled employee to calm tensions. While this may ease the situation for a time, addressing the underlying issues with fairness and transparency is ultimately more important. When justice is done, it brings joy to the righteous but terror to evildoers. When justice prevails, it brings relief and satisfaction to those who live righteously, but it strikes fear in those who have done wrong. Justice is a comfort to the innocent and a warning to the guilty. In a court trial, the innocent are relieved and vindicated when the truth comes out, while the guilty are filled with dread as they anticipate punishment. Justice, in this sense, brings joy to the righteous and fear to the wrongdoer. Verse 16. Whoever strays from the path of prudence comes to rest in the company of the dead. Those who abandon wisdom and good judgment walk a dangerous path that can lead to destruction. Prudence is life-giving, while foolishness invites death, both spiritually and sometimes physically. A driver who ignores road signs and speeds recklessly endangers not only their own life, but also the lives of others. Similarly, someone who neglects sound counsel and lives recklessly may face ruin. Verse 17. Whoever loves pleasure will become poor. Whoever loves wine and olive oil will never be rich. This verse warns against overindulgence in luxury and pleasure. A lifestyle focused solely on personal enjoyment often leads to financial and moral poverty. Wise stewardship and moderation are essential for long-term prosperity. Someone who spends all their income on extravagant vacations, fine dining, and entertainment may find themselves struggling to pay their bills. Without moderation, even wealth can quickly disappear. Verse 18. The wicked become a ransom for the righteous, and the unfaithful for the upright. This suggests that, in the end, the wicked often face the consequences of their actions, sometimes suffering in ways that the righteous are spared. God ensures that justice prevails, even if the path is not immediately clear. In times of war or conflict, those who have lived unjustly often face harsher punishments, while those who acted with integrity are protected or spared. The wicked become the price paid for the righteous to thrive. Verse 19. Better to live in a desert than with a quarrelsome and nagging wife. This verse emphasizes the misery of constant conflict within a household. Peace is more valuable than living in comfort with continual strife. While it refers to a wife here, the principle can apply to any contentious relationship. A person might choose to live in a small, simple apartment rather than stay in a luxurious home filled with constant arguments and stress. The value of peace and harmony far outweighs material wealth. Verse 20. The wise store up choice food and olive oil, but fools gulp theirs down. This verse teaches the importance of saving and managing resources wisely. The wise person plans for the future, while the fool consumes everything in the moment, leaving nothing for later. A wise family carefully budgets their income, saving for emergencies and future needs, while another family spends everything they earn immediately. When unexpected challenges arise, the wise are prepared, while the unwise struggle. Verse 21. Whoever pursues righteousness and love finds life, prosperity, and honor. A life dedicated to righteousness and love brings not only spiritual fulfillment, but also blessings such as well-being, success, and respect from others. God rewards those who seek to live according to His ways. A person who consistently acts with integrity, showing love and fairness to others, is often admired by their community and trusted by others. Their life flourishes because they align their actions with God's principles. One who is wise can go up against the city of the mighty and pull down the stronghold in which they trust. Wisdom is more powerful than brute strength. A wise person can overcome seemingly insurmountable challenges through strategy, insight, and understanding. Consider a small company that outmaneuvers a large, powerful competitor not through size or resources, but through innovative thinking and clever tactics. Wisdom triumphs where mere strength may fail. Verse 22. One who is wise can go up against the city of the mighty and pull down the stronghold in which they trust. Wisdom is more powerful than brute strength. A wise person can overcome seemingly insurmountable challenges through strategy, insight, and understanding. Consider a small company that outmaneuvers a large, powerful competitor not through size or resources, but through innovative thinking and clever tactics. Wisdom triumphs where mere strength may fail. Verse 23. Those who guard their mouths and their tongues keep themselves from calamity. Careful speech can protect us from many troubles. Words have the power to build up or destroy, and those who control their speech wisely avoid unnecessary conflict or misfortune. In the workplace, an employee who speaks with care and diplomacy is less likely to get into disputes or misunderstandings. On the other hand, someone who speaks impulsively may often find themselves in trouble with colleagues or supervisors. Verse 24. The proud and arrogant person, mocker, is his name, behaves with insolent fury. Pride leads to arrogance, and such a person is often quick to mock and insult others. Their behavior is characterized by anger and disrespect, which alienates them from others and leads to their downfall. Think of someone who constantly belittles others, thinking themselves superior. Though they may feel powerful in the moment, this attitude eventually isolates them and causes relational damage. Verse 25. The craving of a sluggard will be the death of him, because his hands refuse to work. Laziness leads to unfulfilled desires and eventual ruin. The sluggard wants much, but is unwilling to put in the effort to achieve anything, leading to frustration and eventual destruction. A person who constantly dreams of success but never takes any steps to work towards it will remain stagnant. Their desire for an easy life without effort will ultimately lead to disappointment and poverty. Verse 26. All day long he craves for more, but the righteous give without sparing. While the lazy person is consumed by unfulfilled cravings, the righteous are generous, freely giving from what they have. This contrast shows the difference between selfish desire and selfless generosity. A wealthy individual who hoards their money out of fear of losing it never finds satisfaction. In contrast, a generous person who gives to those in need often experiences deeper fulfillment and joy in life. Verse 27. The sacrifice of the wicked is detestable, how much more so when brought with evil intent. God rejects the offerings of the wicked, especially when they are given with impure motives. It's not just about what we give to God, but why we give it. Sacrifices without genuine repentance or righteousness are meaningless. Think of someone who donates a large sum of money to charity but does so only to gain praise or cover up unethical actions. Even though the act appears generous, the intent behind it makes it detestable to God. Verse 28. A false witness will perish, but a careful listener will testify successfully. Those who lie and bear false witness will eventually face consequences. On the other hand, those who listen carefully and speak truthfully will stand firm and succeed. In a courtroom, a witness who tells lies may seem convincing at first, but when the truth comes out, their credibility is destroyed. Meanwhile, a person who speaks the truth, even when it's difficult, is vindicated in the end. Verse 29. The wicked put up a bold front, but the upright give thought to their ways. Wicked people often appear confident, but their boldness is shallow and deceptive. In contrast, the righteous carefully consider their actions, knowing that integrity is more important than outward appearances. A dishonest businessman may present himself as confident and successful, but beneath the surface, his unethical practices cause him constant anxiety. A person who lives honestly may be more reserved, but finds peace in knowing they are doing what is right. Verse 30. There is no wisdom, no insight, no plan that can succeed against the Lord. No matter how clever or well thought out a human plan may be, if it opposes God's will, it will ultimately fail. God's wisdom and purpose prevail over all. A nation might devise a brilliant military strategy, but if it conflicts with God's plan for justice and peace, their efforts will not succeed. History is filled with examples of empires that fell despite their seeming invincibility. Verse 31. The horse is made ready for the day of battle, but victory rests with the Lord. While it's wise to prepare and do everything within our power, the outcome is ultimately in God's hands. Success, whether in battle or any other endeavor, depends on God's will, not just human effort. A team may train hard and prepare diligently for a competition, but the final outcome is not solely in their hands. Similarly, in life, we should prepare, but always trust God for the result. Closing summary of Proverbs 21. Proverbs 21 provides powerful insights into how wisdom, righteousness, and humility shape our lives. This chapter emphasizes that God is the ultimate judge of human hearts and actions, valuing righteousness and justice over outward rituals or appearances. It also highlights the futility of pride, laziness, dishonesty, and wickedness, reminding us that these paths lead to destruction, while those who pursue righteousness, diligence, and generosity are blessed. Practical takeaways. 1. God directs the hearts of leaders and individuals. Trust that He is in control of all things, even when situations seem uncertain. 2. Examine your motives. Don't just focus on outward actions. Seek to have a pure heart and do what is right. 3. Beware of pride. Pride leads to sin and hardens the heart. Humility opens the door to growth and righteousness. 4. Value diligence and careful planning. Success comes from steady, consistent effort, not from rushing or taking shortcuts. 5. Practice generosity. The righteous give freely without holding back, trusting that God will provide for their needs. 6. Victory belongs to God. We can prepare, but in the end, we must trust God for the outcome. By applying these principles to everyday life, whether in our work, relationships, or spiritual walk, we can live wisely and honor God in all we do. May the good Lord bless His word in our hearts and help us to be doers of His word. In Jesus' mighty name, amen. Kindly subscribe and turn on post notification for more prayers and Bible reading. God bless you.